Why should we even bother trying to make sense of life? Of other people's actions? Whenever I see someone do something that I think is, quite frankly, odd, something I wouldn't necessarily do, I don't question them unless it impacts me. I don't judge them for it. I just let them do them, because whenever we see someone do something we think is odd, it highlights the beauty of what makes us human. Individuality. Unless, I guess, if you're listening and you grew up in a communist country, in which case I know nothing about that because I'm speaking for democratic societies. So I guess to rephrase my earlier statement, what makes living in a democratic society so great is that we are, for the most part, allowed to express our individuality from other humans and act however the hell we want to, as long as we don't impact the safety or well-being of others. And it's great. If you're listening from a communist country, I highly recommend you venture over on here if President Trump lets you, and get a taste of this democratic heaven. So the New York Jets did something that people are questioning. They think it's odd. The Jets gave up 3 second-round picks, 2 of them in this year's draft, to move from number 6 to number 3. Let's take a step back and analyze. Before this trade, the Jets were obviously sitting at number 6. There are 3 quarterback needy teams in front of them: Browns, Giants, and Broncos. Now, there are 4 quarterbacks we generally kind of agree that have first-round grades: Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and Josh Allen. And from what I've read, Rosen and Darnold are the ones that general managers would feel comfortable with taking, in the first 2 top 3 picks. While Mayfield and Allen, they have some red flags. So assuming Browns have 2 chances to take a quarterback before you, Giants could use a quarterback. Why stop at 3, right? Assuming Darnold and Rosen are taking in the first 2 picks, is the drop-off from Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen that steep? The red flags Josh Allen has is the accuracy and level of competition, while the red flags for Baker Mayfield are measurables and maturity. The New York Jets did something questionable and odd, and I reserve my judgment for bold moves until I see the results of them, because it's only fair. I'm not going to say whether it's a good move or a bad move, because I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. But I can tell you what this move means if they actually do stay put at number 3 and don't try to, get up to number 2 or number 1. If this is their final move, the New York Jets feel like they're on to something. They think they know something the league doesn't. And they also played the ultimate chess move. This is a very interesting play, a very interesting move by the New York Jets, because essentially you're forcing the Browns to pick a quarterback at number 1 instead of Saquon Barkley. And if they don't, you're guaranteed one of the top 2 rated quarterbacks at that point, whether the Giants go QB or Barkley. But even if that isn't the case, and they're assuming Rosen and Darnold are going to go 1 and 2 overall, let's just say that happens, they just may very well think they can reel in Baker Mayfield and make him a leader. Or they may think they can get the most out of the most physically gifted quarterback in the draft in Josh Allen. What the Jets did is take the keys away from Cleveland, because originally it was said that Cleveland Cleveland's first move basically controlled how the top half of the draft would go. But that's not true anymore, and it's because of the Jets. Let's say Darnold and Rosen are gone, and the Jets say, you know what, screw it. We lost Matt Forte. We're going to take the dude Barkley. Then maybe Arizona and Buffalo tried to move up even further to get one of the leftover quarterbacks. Maybe Tampa takes a flyer on one of them. Who knows? We're not going to know until the bullets actually start flying. But we do know the New York Jets just made themselves the pivot point in the top of the draft. People are weighing in, oh, this is stupid. New York, horrible franchise, clean house. Well, we won't truly know until we reach the season. You can say the Jets are stupid for this move because you don't know. It's the unknown. It's odd. You don't know who they're going to pick. But Cleveland and New York Giants, New York Jets, they could all look stupid for taking Rosen and Darnold. Who knows? It all depends on the results, so that's why you should reserve judgment. Just because someone does something you think is odd, just because someone does something that's bold, something that you wouldn't do, doesn't necessarily make it wrong. Withhold your judgment until the results come out. Moving the extra point back. You're messing with the game. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The game is now more exciting and interesting. There's more pressure on extra points at the end of games. Matt Flynn, $26 million. Why are you starting a third-round pick? Seattle Seahawks got their guy. Franchises don't see success by staying put. Falcons move up and get Julio Jones. Now, they haven't won a Super Bowl because of it, but it was still a culture changer. You have one of the top players in the league on your team from a bold move. Eagles move up to get Carson Wentz, MVP candidate. There is a player the Jets feel will be a franchise-altering presence at number 3 overall, regardless. Just because we don't know who that player is, we naturally want to criticize it. No, not we, you guys. Me, on the other hand, I'm excited to find out who it is. I support the move. I support the bold, the risk takers. I'm Milton Woolley. You're now listening to The Pylon. Alright, I don't know how many of you had this environment, but when I was in high school, my senior year, my government class and my English class did not learn a damn thing. Why? I literally had at least 4 of the top 10 malcontents in my class at any given point. 4 of the top 10 malcontents in the entire school. And if you put Andrew Trahan, Joe Brown, Tyler Wallace, Julius, whatever his name was, and Cooper Baker all in a classroom at once, not a damn thing is going to get done. I do not know how the government works because Mr. Urey could not get control of those knuckleheads. I do not know as much about English and reading because poor Miss Ballard couldn't handle Joe Brown's 6'3" ignorant frame in the company that joined him. See, if you have one of them in the classroom by themselves, sure, you can suppress it and, carry on with what you need to do. But to have a whole team, to have several of those guys together in one classroom, it makes it damn near impossible for a leader to do their job. So the Los Angeles Rams acquired Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, two well-known, difficult personalities to deal with, two what we would label them as knuckleheads. And there's also potential for an Ndamukong Suh to join the team. Now, you already got two. You may add a third. All right, now let's bring it back to the big picture before going over it with, the fine-tooth comb. Ndamukong Suh paired with Aaron Darnold to go along with Michael Brockers. Dangerous. Aqib Talib paired with Marcus Peters, two ball-hawking cornerbacks. What QB is going to want to take a risk with these guys? That tight window throw, who's going to want to try that with these guys? That's a lot of talent at premier positions on defense. Obviously, it looks absolutely amazing on paper. But you know who else looked amazing on paper for years on defense and actually were amazing? Seattle. You see, I've seen and listened to analysts say, hey, if you keep the outspoken knuckleheads to one side of the ball, you can deal with it. But the outspoken, rebellious personalities on Seattle, majority of them, were on defense. See, Doug Baldwin, he's outspoken too, yeah, but the ones who are willing to openly challenge the coaching staff, the head coaches, the offense, were on defense. We've already had Todd Gurley call out the offensive play calling for the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff, like Russell Wilson, is the good guy quarterback that isn't going to fight back and address the tough issues. But we've already seen Jared Goff's confidence can be pretty shaky. But what makes his, pairing of this trio, Ndamukong Suh, Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, what makes it so dangerous is that not only is their quarterback psyche fragile, but you also have a head coach in his 30s. He's the same age as Aqib Talib, the same age as Ndamukong Suh. He's only, 10 years older than Marcus Peters? You think they're really going to truly respect him if they act out of line? And if he tries to put his foot down? I doubt it. I really do. If the Rams bring in Suh, while they already brought in Talib and Marcus Peters, they need to make sure this is like a 2-year rental. And in that window, they better get a championship, because that's too much toxicity and too much ignorance. Too many tainted stars with big egos on one team. Now, these moves show me that the Rams are clearly in win now mode. They want to take advantage of the fall of the Seahawks while they can. Try to get out ahead of the 49ers before they establish themselves. So have at it. But after you win, and you better make sure you win, cut out those bad seeds and give them to someone else. Make them someone else's problem. Aqib Talib is the most talented rental corner in the NFL. Teams only want him in for 2-3 years and then they get rid of him. Marcus Peters will probably end up on that trajectory if he doesn't clean up his act. And apparently, according to reports, Ndamukong Suh is a straight dick. I like these pairings and potential signings on paper just off of talent alone. But these are the types of guys that will eat a 30-year-old head coach alive. Just saying. I'm Milton Woolley. You're now listening to The Pylon. I'm going to be real with you guys here. Being black, a Jamaican American, and seeing pro athletes who probably aren't as negatively impacted by racism, you know, seeing them speak up for those minorities without a voice, that means a lot. These guys are, come on, they're playing a kid's game. They have millions of dollars and pretty much can get whatever they want. They're set for life. They don't have to speak out against racial injustice, so it's big of them, in my opinion, to highlight the wrong that's going on in minority communities around the country. But, and I'm not trying to sound like a sellout to my own race. Actually, it's not even selling out. It frustrates the hell out of me when I see these prominent black athletes speak out and then they go ahead and just nullify the message by doing something stupid. Let me tell you something, and my small white audience, don't take this the wrong way, just listen to what I'm saying. As a black man, and I am not accusing whites of making me feel this way, particularly. It's my own mental struggle. But as a black man, I feel like I have to walk on eggshells. I feel like I can't do certain things out in public that my white contemporaries can do. I'm not going to go into specific examples because this is a sports podcast and not a social justice podcast. I address sports topics, so I don't want the main story I'm about to bring light to get lost in some socially conscious rant. But the fact is, because a lot of other black people like me feel like they have to walk on eggshells, feel they're already at a disadvantage in the minds of people, feel like they can't act certain ways, while we are still trying to get our message out and let people know we are feeling oppressed. See, that means we have to be on our P's and Q's at all times if you're really trying to fight that fight. And it sucks. But that's the reality of it. Michael Bennett, we know he's an out there personality. He's eccentric, can rub people the wrong way, but he has lined himself up with the cause that Colin Kaepernick has been fighting. He's been incredibly outspoken on it. But people like Michael Bennett aren't doing the movement any favors. First off, we had the incident last year where he was race baiting and lied on Las Vegas police. Then I just read he's facing jail time for allegedly harming an elderly disabled woman. The incident apparently happened at last year's Super Bowl. The woman controlled access to the field. He was trying to rush the field after the Patriots won, and she told him he had to use a different entrance, and he ignored her and pushed past her and other security and hurt her in the process. I get it. Your brother just won the Super Bowl in spectacular fashion. You're overwhelmed with emotion and adrenaline. You're happy. You're on cloud nine. But Michael, you know who you are. You know what cause you're trying to make people believe you are fighting for. You as a black man, I know you will attest to the belief that we can only do certain things while white people can just do whatever. I know you feel that way. You feel like we're under a microscope 24/7. Realize this. But now you're lying on security, disregarding security. You want to fight the black people or thugs image so bad. And I understand it. But showing a lack of respect for higher authority, higher security isn't helping that cause. It may seem, this whole incident may, seem simple, but there is a warrant out for your arrest. You may think it's nothing, but you can face up to 10 years in prison. You are a prominent black figure who is fighting a racially charged cause the wrong way. They would love to put a muzzle on you and throw you away over something stupid like this, Michael Bennett. And I feel Michael Bennett is great for the NFL because this eccentric, fearless personality, it adds interest to the product. But he decided to insert himself in this racial injustice discussion. And quite frankly, he's been one of the most irresponsible voices on this cause. That's all I have for today. Hope you all are doing well. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever or don't. It's whatever. I'm gonna still keep on coming. But enjoy you guys' lives. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, weekends. I'm Milton Woolley, and you have now listened to another edition of The Pylon.